Hello and welcome back guys to the Sky Coding. So in today's video we will discuss about caching in Snowflake. What is caching? Okay, so basically Snowflake has provided to all of the users caching. Okay, so it has provided caching because of data loading. With this caching we can load the data in a faster way. So basically caching loads the data from the remote disk of the Snowflake in a faster way by using the results cache and the local disk cache feature, okay, which are available to us by the Snowflake. Okay, so caching is just for loading the data in the faster way, faster loading of data. It has a feature for loading the data in the faster way. Okay, so in this video we will discuss all about the caching in Snowflake. And first of all we will discuss some of the concepts of the caching, and after that we will see practical session and we will observe the difference between caching loading and without caching loading from the results cache, local disk cache. Okay, we will do some of the practical session, some of the practical examples in the practical session. Then you will understand the caching in Snowflake, what is the caching and how caching is working in the Snowflake. Okay, so let's move ahead and let's see some of the concepts of Snowflake caching which are available to all of the users. Okay, so let's move ahead to the next slide. Okay, so you can see here caching definition is written. Okay, so before moving to this caching in Snowflake, let's first of all understand that what is cache in our real life, as we all use some of the apps in our mobile. Okay, so let's take an example of the any of the WhatsApp. Okay, so in suppose that you are using WhatsApp, and whenever you will click on the WhatsApp and move to the app info folder, then you will see there is a one option for cache, clear cache, and one for a clear data. So that cache is a cache. You can say it is a temporary storage. Okay, for this is a cache. Okay, so let's take an example of any music apps. Okay, the music app are this suppose that Reso and Ghana and Hangama or Spotify. Okay, so let's take example of the Spotify. Okay, suppose that you have saved any of the music in the liked videos or in your favorites. Okay, in the Spotify app. Okay, so that Spotify app, how it will do, it will again and again not retrieve the data from the remote server. Okay, it will just show you the results cache. Okay, suppose that you have played one song earlier. Okay, and you have saved that song to your playlist or to your favorites. Okay, and later you come back and you are playing that same music. Okay, that same song. Okay, so whenever you are coming the second time and playing the same music, then that music will be played from the cache only. Okay, and it will not go to the remote disk of that Spotify or any of the Gaina app, and it will not go there. It will just use your cache memory, and it will play the music from there. Okay, because earlier when you have played the music, that has stored that song in the cache. Okay, but you can't see that cache. Okay, and let's take example of a gaming app of a Free Fire. Okay, suppose that you are playing a Free Fire. Okay, and whenever you will download the Free Fire, it's of just of 800 or 900 MB. Okay, and whenever you will do the login of your ID, and whenever you are downloading any customs, emotes, and collections, okay, your dresses and all these. Okay, then all these will consume the data, and they your storage of that game is just increasing and increasing day by day. Okay, so all these things will be, suppose that when you use any emotes. Okay, so then that emote will come into your interface by just a cache only. Okay, it will not move to the remote disk. Okay, so that's a difference of cache. Okay, and in the computing, so cache is just a high speed data storage layer. Okay, which just stores the data which you have used earlier. Okay, and to serve the user speeder and faster. Okay, so for this we use the caching. Okay, so that's all about the caching. Okay, so basically caching, what is caching? So caching is just a temporary storage that stores copies of files or data so that they can be accessed faster in you and near use. Okay, so caching is just a temporary storage that stores a data of or copies of files of the data so that that can be accessed faster whenever you will use that data. Okay, and cache plays a vital role in saving cost and speeding up the results. Okay, suppose that you have fired a one query earlier and you are firing the same query again, then it will not move to the remote disk. It will just move to the results cache and it will show the data. So by this way it is also saving the cost, and whenever you will fire the same query again and again, that will speed up the results. Okay, it will not take more time, and it will not move to the remote disk. Okay, as it is not moving to the remote disk, so that it will just show the results in the faster way. Okay, and it also improves the query performance, as we will retrieve the data in the faster way. Okay, and we have just two types of cache in our Snowflake. First one is results cache, query results cache, and the second one is local disk cache. Local disk cache, which is available to our VM, that virtual warehouse space. Okay, and the results cache is stored in the cloud layer. Okay, we will discuss by diagram. Okay, so this is all about the caching, and we have two types of cache: results cache and the local cache. Okay, so let's move ahead. So basically this is a diagram for Snowflake caching. Okay, so let's understand by this diagram. Okay, so this is a remote disk where all the data of the Snowflake is stored. Okay, and this is the warehouse layer where there is a local disk cache is stored here, and this is a cloud layer where results cache is stored. Okay, as we have discussed all about the architecture of the Snowflake. Okay, where we have discussed about storage layer, compute layer, and all this. Okay, if you haven't seen my that video, then you can visit to the description and you can watch that video from there to understand more about the architecture of the Snowflake. Okay, so here these are the users who are using Snowflake. Okay, and suppose that this user has fired some query first time. Okay, so first time it will go to the remote disk, and it will take the data from there, and it will store in the results cache. Okay, and it will show the data from there. It will show the data to the user from results from first of all it will first time it will show the data from results cache. Okay, and suppose that at the same time at the second time it is user is also firing the same query, then it will not go to the remote disk again, and it will just move to the results cache, and it will show the data to the user. Okay, suppose that on the first time whenever user is querying the data, suppose that first time it has taken 2 minutes, so, for querying the data, showing the data to the user. So the user, whenever user will fire the same query again, then it will just take us milliseconds only, because it is in the second time it will not move to the remote disk, it will just take the data from the results cache. Okay, these cache memories as well. Okay, so this is about the results cache and local disk. For the local disk cache, whenever user is firing any query, then for showing the data, then user first time user have to get the data from the remote disk, and the local disk cache will just store the data. It will not store the result, it will just store the data, and it will show to the user first time. Okay, and suppose that after again a user is firing the query by making subset of query, he want the data of subset of query or some other data, so it will not move to the remote disk, it will just move to the local disk cache, and it will load the data. Okay, here the drawback in results cache is that you have to fire the same query again and again to fetch the calls in faster way from the results caches, and if you are firing the different queries, then it will move to the remote disk. Okay, we will discuss all those things in the results cache and local disk cache. So okay, so this is all about the caching in Snowflake. Okay, by example by this diagram. Okay, so let's move ahead. So now let's first of all understand about the results cache. Okay, so results cache. Okay, so basically the results cache is located in cloud service layer. As I have told you earlier, it is stored in the cloud service layer, and this cache data will be just available for you for next 24 hours. Okay, suppose that you have fired one query, and when you are firing same query again and again, then that query will take the data from the results cache from just 24 hours, and if you are firing same query after 24 hours, then it will not go to the results cache, it will move to the storage layer, and it will fetch the data from there. Okay, so the results cache is for available to user for just 24 hours. Okay, and results cache will be available and can be accessed across different virtual warehouses. Okay, suppose that you are using a warehouse. Okay, and you want to fetch the data in the a warehouse, and you have fetched the data from the a warehouse by performing some query. Okay, and suppose that you are now firing the same query in another warehouse, that is a B warehouse. Okay, so that thing will also work in the B warehouse. When you fire the same query, then it will not move to the remote disk, it will just move to the results cache and it will fetch the data from there, because you have fired the same query in another virtual warehouse. Okay, so results cache will be available to all of the warehouses, different warehouses. Okay, and query result returned to one user is available to any other user on system who executes the same query. Okay, as I have discussed about the role, suppose that there is a one system admin user and some admin home. Okay, so admin user, there is a sysadmin and admin. Okay, so suppose that admin has filed some query and he has fetched the data from the remote disk and stored in the results cache, and sysadmin is firing the same query. Then for sysadmin, it will just take the data from this results cache only, it will not move to the remote disk. Okay, so suppose that there are two different users, so these two different users can use the same results cache. Okay, results cache will be shared by across the different users and across the different warehouses as well. Okay, these two things are written in this second and third point. Okay, so results cache works until underlying data has not changed. Okay, so suppose that you have fired some query. Okay, and after 4 or 5 hours some data in the database is changed. Okay, then results cache will not work, and when you fire the same query, then it will not fetch the data from the results cache, it will just move to the remote disk and it will fetch the data from there. Okay, so the data will not be changed if you want to work with the results cache. Okay, so this is basically the drawback of results cache. Okay, and here mandatory condition is query should be same. Okay, and won't work for subset of data and even won't work for reorder columns. Okay, so here the mandatory condition is, suppose that you have fired one query on the customer table for getting all the records. Okay, select asterisk from customer table. Okay, so you have fired this query. Okay, and in the again on the second time we have to fire just the same query, select asterisk from customer table. Then you, if you are firing the same query again and again, then it will move to the results cache and it will show you the data. And if you are just changing any date, any of the query, and if you are doing any changes in the query, then it will not fetch the data from the results cache and it will just go to the remote disk and it will fetch the data. So here the mandatory condition is, you have, your query must be same whenever you are firing the query again and again, your query must be same. Okay, and you cannot do the subset of data. Suppose that there are two columns, first name and last name, in this customer table, and earlier you have fired one query, select asterisk from table customer. Okay, and now you are firing the query to fetch the select first name from that table. Okay, then it will not move to the results cache. Now this time you are firing the different query, whether it is a subset of that table only, but it will not move to the results cache, it will just move to the remote disk and it will fetch the data from there, because you are firing the different query. Okay, and even don't work for reordering columns. Reordering means, suppose that earlier you have fired a query, select first name last name from table customer. Okay, and now you are just firing select last name and first name from table. Okay, so in this way it also not work, it will not go to the results cache, it will just move to the a remote disk and it will fetch the data. Okay, so this is basically the difference in working with the results cache. Okay, these are some of the drawbacks. First drawback is data must be same, and second drawback is you have to just fire the same query. Okay, so this is all about the results cache and it is available for 24 hours. Okay, so this is all about the results cache. Now let's move to the local disk cache. Okay, so local disk cache. Okay, so local disk cache is located in the virtual warehouse. As I have told you, local disk cache will be stored in the virtual warehouse layer. Okay, you can say it as a compute layer as well, if you have seen my that architecture video. Okay, so local disk storage, local disk cache is stored in the virtual warehouse layer and it caches the data, not the results fetched by SQL queries. So I have told you whenever I was explaining that diagram, that this local disk cache will store the data, it will not store just the results only. Okay, suppose that let's differentiate between local disk and results cache. Okay, so in results cache, suppose that you have filed the query select asterisk from a table customer. Okay, so you are fetching all the data. Okay, and whenever you are firing to get the data of first name from that table, then it will not go to the results cache, as in the results cache there is a condition for firing the same query. Okay, but here whenever you will fire the query select asterisk from table, so first time it will fetch the data from the table from that storage layer, that is a remote disk, and it will store the records in the local disk cache. And whenever you will do the subset of query, whenever you are firing the same different query, suppose that different query means whenever you are suppose that earlier you have done the query select asterisk from table name, so select asterisk means you have just fetched all the data of that table into the into the local disk cache. Okay, and whenever you will fire some query of getting the first name or last name. Okay, suppose that we have fired a query select first name from the table. Okay, then at the second time as we are firing the query subset of data, then it will not move to the remote disk cache, it will just move to this local disk cache, and it will show you the record in less time. Okay, so this local disk cache is storing the data, it is not storing just the results. Okay, but results cache is just storing the results of that query. That's why there in the results cache we have to perform the same query again and again. Okay, so here whenever data is needed for a given query, it's retrieved from the remote disk storage and cached in the SSD and memory. Okay, as I have told you, whenever user will file any query, then at the first time it will retrieve the data from the remote disk, and it will cache that data in the SSD or in the memory which is available by the Snowflake. Okay, so in the local disk. Okay, so cache data is only available until the virtual warehouse is up. Okay, so here this is a drawback of local disk cache, that cache data will be only available to the user until the warehouse will be in up and running condition. Okay, if the warehouse is suspended, the cache of the local disk cache will be deleted. Okay, so the warehouse will be in running. Okay, and if the warehouse is suspended, then cache data will be deleted. Okay, so that's a drawback of this local disk cache. Okay, so let's see some of the more points. Okay, even works when we query subset of data, as I have told you earlier, the example of example of select asterisk from table. Okay, we are first time fetching all the records of the customer table by using select asterisk. Okay, and after that we are just fetching the first name from that table, so it will not move to the remote disk, it will just fetch the data from the results cache. Okay, so that's an example. Okay, and let me take this example as well. Suppose when we query 10k records for the first time. Okay, suppose we have just queries the 10k records for the first time, then it will local disk cache will hold 10k records, and first time it will go to the remote disk cache, and it will take the 10k records from there, and it will store these 10k records in the local disk cache. Okay, and suppose that in the next time you try to query only 2k records from this 10k. Okay, so it will just show you 2k or 3k records whatever user is querying from the local disk itself. Okay, it will not move to the remote disk and again. And the main goal of us is to fetch the data from these local disk cache and results cache. Okay, for working faster or for getting the data loading faster. Okay, so we here is a subset is working here. Suppose that earlier we have get the data queried the 10k records, and whenever we are querying just 2k or 3k records, then it will just show the record from the local disk cache in a very less time. Okay, here the performance will be good. Okay, and this cache is depends on the virtual warehouse sizing also we are using. Okay, so this cache is also depend on the virtual warehouse whatever you are using. If you are using the small one, then it will take more time to load the data. If you are using the large one, then it will take the less time to store that data, to show you that data. Okay, so this is basically the difference of these things. Okay, that how cache work and what is the difference between a local disk cache and a results cache in the table. Okay, so that's all what we want to tell you in this video of the results cache and a local disk cache. Okay, so basically the difference between results cache and local disk cache, for if we are working with the results cache and if we want to fetch the record from the results cache, then we have to fire the same query. Okay, and this is the basically the drawback in the results cache, and we have to fire the same query. Okay, and working with the local disk cache, we can also fire the different query, and here we can do the subset of data, and here we can just rearrange the columns as well. Suppose that first time we have fired the query for first name last name, and now we are firing the query for last name and first name. Okay, so this thing is also working in the local disk cache as well. Okay, so this is basically about the local disk cache and the results cache, which is the feature available to us by the Snowflake. Okay, so that we can load the data faster. Okay, so that's all about this results cache and local disk cache concept about the Snowflake. And now we will do some of the practical session for understanding about these results cache and local disk cache, and after that we will observe that how these cache is acquiring the data from the remote disk and how they are showing to the users, and we will just also observe some of the performances as well. Okay, so that's all about for today's session. Okay, and please watch my next video. The link is given in the description box for the practical session of caching. Okay, where we have discussed about local disk cache, and we have loaded some data from local disk and some load from the results cache, and we have observed all the things that how local disk cache and how results cache is working and how they are different from each other. Okay, so watch that video of the practical session of local disk cache for better understanding of the caching in Snowflake. Okay, so bye guys, take care of yourself, and please watch my another video. The link is given in the description box for the part 2 of caching video. Okay guys.